This question was actually asked by Tanya and Kristen. Is it possible to have a preschool in a small home? Yes, it absolutely is. Let me explain how it is. First off, question for you, do you have a small home? Post in the comments, do you have a small home, an apartment, an extra preschool room that you could use? You could convert your garage. Post in the comments what space you have available for your preschool. So now back to the question, is it possible to have a preschool in a small home? So when I was starting my co-op preschool, remember, where it was free, all I had was a home. I did not have a preschool room. I had my living room that we literally did the dramatic play, and we did our circle time, and we did all of our free play and our story time on the couches, and we did arts and crafts and snacks at the table, the kitchen table. And then I had my backyard for recess. That's all I had. I had a small home. I am literally the person who can say, yes, it can be done. You do not need to have an extra preschool classroom to teach preschool in your home. So now, question is, can it be done in an uber small home, like 750 square feet home? Well, that depends. Is it full of mostly bedrooms, or is it mostly a living room with one bedroom? Okay, so consider it. I'm going to give you a special number. That is 35. Are you ready for that number? 35 square feet is how many feet you need per child to be able to be correct for your fire code. So if you have 7 students, you would multiply that 7 times 35 to be able to figure out how much square footage you would need for 7 students. Generally what you do is to figure out your square footage, take your measurements from this side of the room to this side of the room, multiply them, and you get your square footage, and then you're going to divide that by 35, and that will tell you how many students you can have in your space. So more importantly than anything, that's going to be your governing number, because if you need to get licensed or anything like that, they're going to have the fire marshal come over, and it's not a big deal. He'll just come through and say, there's the smoke alarm, oh, do you have a fire extinguisher? You need to get one. Yep, your outlets look great. You have 2 exits, so looking good. It's very easy, and he'll measure your space, and he will be doing the same number to figure out how many students can be in there. So you'll be a step ahead of him by already having that number. So when you're measuring, what areas do you measure? Well, you measure your living room, of course. You also can measure your kitchen, and then you can measure any bedroom that your students will be playing in. Now for me, I had bedrooms as off limits because I didn't want the preschoolers in the rooms of my own children's toys, okay? I wanted a clear separation so that I didn't have to sanitize their toys. I knew that my children could go into their room and have clean toys at any time and just be able to really have their time, like their space. They didn't feel it was infringed on. They weren't trying to share their own favorite toys. And that was just my own personal choice, was bedrooms were off limits. Now I did have an extra, so that was my space, as a living room and a kitchen. So you can measure both of those areas for your square footage. You can't measure your backyard playground to add into that number, of course. But most homes can adequately have 12 students, no problem, by the living room and the kitchen. Most homes can. You can't measure the bathroom square footage. Okay, sometimes, some fire people, marshals, will give you a 1 student for a bathroom. So I've had this before where, they said, well, we can't, I know that maybe 2 people would be in here washing their hands, and I know it's got enough square footage for 3 people, but technically only 1 person's supposed to be in the bathroom at a time. And so sometimes they will measure the whole area, and then they would give you one extra 35 or whatever, 1 extra kid allowed per bathroom. So I don't know if they'll do that for you, but that's something that I have seen, and then I've seen it also not happen in other marshals. It depends on, apparently, the marshal or maybe the area. Now, that was when I was doing the co-op. Then when I moved into my home, what we did was we did our living room, our kitchen, and then I had a separate room for the preschool area. So we did all of our free play, dramatic play, center time out in the living room. Our story time was in the living room. We did all of our arts and crafts and snacks at the table, of course, recess outside. And then we did all of our actual school time, what we'll call it, right? Was inside this fun little classroom that we had put together. And we had that's really where we did our circle time and letters and music and movement and all that good stuff. So that was more in that room. That's how we did it in that area. Hey, quick question. Does the word daycare literally feel like fingernails on a chalkboard? Oh, chills. I hate that word daycare. So if the idea of staying home with other people's kids, watching them for 12 hours every single day feels more like a prison sentence than an actually rewarding career, listen up, because I've created a free guidebook called The 7 Secrets to Starting a Preschool. It's going to help you whether you're doing an online or a local preschool. I want to get it in your hands. Simply go to preschoolsecrets.com or click the link in the description. We'll get it right to you. Okay, go get it right now. Don't forget, it's free. Now, let's say you don't have a backyard, okay? Or you, because of the requirements of like maybe needing fencing or pools or whatever, you're not allowed to go outside because of licensing or whatever. In that situation, what you want to do is you want to just make sure there's enough area in your home for big gross movement exercises and activities, okay? Gross motor, of course, is going to be your large muscles, your running, jumping, climbing, sliding. You might not be able to run, jump, climb, or slide, but you can jump. And you can spin, you can do a whole bunch of other fun things. You just have to be really creative about it, okay? Get lots of fun PE materials like scarves, like hula hoops. I know you're not going to be like or rolling the hula hoops, but you can do lots of like different obstacle course games. That is so much fun. So you can get out cones and hula hoops, and there's also these really cool stepping stones. They're plasticky. Literally type into Lakeshore or something, or Discount School Supply is another fun place. Stepping stones, and you will immediately see them pop up. So you can have literally hula hoops, stepping stones, and cones, and you can have those set aside. And then when it is time for recess, if you can't go outside because the weather is crazy or because your backyard's not accessible or things like that, or you don't have a backyard, then, you know, you can move the couches or the activities, the toys away, and now you have a free open space. Put a big obstacle course that just keeps going in a loop, okay? I get that it's a smaller area, so it's harder to do those big movements without kiddos hurting themselves or running into other people, but obstacle courses are perfect for this because as long as they're in a loop, nobody's really interacting with each other, like running into each other, but they're able to still get that activity, their wiggles out and things like that. And you can just like, okay, we're gonna hop this time all around the obstacle course. This time we're gonna skip around the obstacle course. This time we're gonna, you know, stand up and touch our toes every single time we go to the next one, or whatever it is. Lots of different fun ways you can do it, but that's how you can literally do it if you have a small home, and even if you don't even have a backyard to play in. So yes, can it happen, Tanya and Kristen? Can you do it in a small home? 100% you can. If you have an extra classroom, bonus for you. If you have a converted garage, bonus for you. If you have a complete different building with a center or at a church, bonus for you, but it's not required, okay? So subscribe and share. I want to make sure that everybody out there knows that you can definitely do this even if you have a small home. And I've got some really cool videos. Be sure to check out on my feed here. I've got videos about how to actually do it in a converted garage. You see my converted garage from start to finish. And then I also show you my converted schoolhouse. It used to be a dilapidated old building, and we converted it into a beautiful schoolhouse as well. So hope that was helpful for you, and subscribe and share.